Hi, let's talk a bit about abstraction in art. I'm not an art historian, but I like art, and I have picked up a thing or two over the years. So here's what little I know about abstraction. First, think about instrumental music. With a few exceptions, music isn't trying to reproduce sounds from nature or humans or machines. Music is an abstract arrangement of sounds that makes you feel something. Some sounds are invigorating, while others express your sorrow. But they aren't an imitation of anything. I would argue that all instrumental music is abstract. Visual art, however, started from the idea of representing something in the real world. It's a picture of something. It's a picture of a person or a landscape, or maybe a bowl of fruit. It represents something, so it's called representational art. In the 20th century, some artists, like Wassily Kandinsky, began to abandon the idea of using paint to create a visual illusion of some kind. Why not paint shapes and lines and colors that make the viewer feel something, regardless of whether it depicts something recognizable, like music does? When you look at a representational painting, if you look beyond the illusion, that's what's left: shapes and lines and colors. Focal points, relationships between different things on the canvas, lightness, darkness, openness and density. And different artists and artworks use different degrees of abstraction. Some are more abstract and some are less. This one by Mondrian is completely abstract. So is this one by Jackson Pollack. This one by Rothko is abstract, but could that be a horizon? And in this one by one of my favorite artists, Paul Klee, that is recognizable as a human face. This sculpture by Henry Moore is abstract, but you don't have to look at it for long before you recognize that that's a mother and a child. Later, pop art would say that when you study art using the principles of abstraction, this comic book image and this can of soup can be just as beautiful and meaningful as the Mona Lisa. It's all just colors and lines and shapes. But for this video, I'll focus on this single painting by Kandinsky, Composition 8. It's a mess, right? It looks like senseless chaos. A lot of things in real life appear at first to have no rational order. Here's what I see. First, my eye is drawn to 3 separate focal points. I see this cluster, where the lines and shapes are most densely packed. I see this large black and purple circle. And then this triangle in the center that sort of divides the painting into 2 parts. That large black and purple circle has a red halo around it. Then I notice that there are 2 other circles on the left side that have halos of color surrounding them, the way saints in medieval paintings had halos of light around their heads. Solar eclipses and other celestial phenomena have halos too. So those circles seem more important in some way than this circle or this one. The area to the right of the triangle is full of busyness and activity. The area to the left contains more open space and is dominated by those large circles. And we've already established that those circles are somehow more powerful than other things in the painting. They're simple and bold. This shape on the left stands in contrast to this similar shape on the right. Like the circles, the one on the left is simple and isn't cluttered with as many small shapes like the corresponding shape on the right is. On the left, there's this elegant curvy line. On the right side, if this is its equivalent, is merely a mechanical repetition of a curve, and its line is intersected and partly obscured by other lines and shapes. I'm starting to get the impression that this is a contrast between simplicity and complexity. The simple side has an easy appeal that the other side doesn't. It's more orderly and uncluttered. It has clear focal points. But then I think about how totalitarianism, which Kandinsky experienced firsthand, is simple and dominated by a few important people. In Kandinsky's case, it was Adolf Hitler and Joseph Goebbels, who condemned his work as degenerate, forcing him to flee to Paris. Under totalitarianism, inconvenient and messy complications are removed or erased. Democracy, on the other hand, if it really is a democracy, is noisy, messy, full of conflict and complications. Where there is freedom, there's lots of diversity of people and opinions. I begin to think that the chaotic side has a beauty of its own. It's full of life and energy that the other side lacks. Chaos and clutter can be uncomfortable, but they can still be beautiful and meaningful. This painting by Wassily Kandinsky made me think these things. So you see, this painting isn't a literal representation of anything, but uses shapes and colors to elicit feelings and ideas in the viewer. You'll probably get something very different from what I get. That's because people are individuals, and art affects individuals differently based on their own conscious thoughts and subconscious feelings, our opinions and knowledge, as well as our experiences and stage of life. What I see when I look at abstract art reveals more about me than it does about the artist. It's a mirror, like a Rorschach test. What you see depends on what's going on in your psyche. For example, what did I just reveal about myself in the interpretation I just gave? Abstraction is mainly thought of as something in the world of visual art. While I argue that all music is abstract, I think that no literature is abstract. It can't be, because literature has to have a character and a narrative of some kind. I might consider some books I've read that seemed chaotic and senseless, to me anyway, like Beetle Leg by John Hawkes, but even that has a literal setting, Montana, and a main character, Luke. For a literary work to be as truly and fully abstract as Wassily Kandinsky or Jackson Pollack, I think it couldn't have any characters a human reader could identify with. For example, in the book The Missing Piece, the main character isn't human, it's just a geometric shape. But it's anthropomorphized, it has human thoughts and feelings. It's a symbolic representation of a person. And an abstract work of literature couldn't depict anything from the physical world either, not a leaf or a tree, not a wheelbarrow. And if such a book existed, I don't think anyone would want to read it. Ultimately, I think literature is immune to abstraction. Maybe you can think of some literary work that would qualify as abstract. So that's my take on abstraction as a facet of modernism. Please leave your thoughts, opinions, and reaction in the comments. I will always be glad to know your responses to my work.